there, my name is Phil Beckham, the Rabbi from Another Planet. Please like, share and subscribe and ring that little bell so you're notified when new videos drop. And I am doing a DVD giveaway. I'm doing DVD giveaways all this month, all this next 2 months while the season 12 of Doctor Who is running. This next one I'm giving away is Dalek War DVD Boxset. The reason I'm giving it away is they bought out these stories on Blu-ray. I bought the Blu-rays, don't need the DVDs anymore. I'll give them to one of you guys. Why not? Share the love. So, Dalek War. It's a 1973 two stories. A four disc set. Pertwee stories. Frontier in Space. Planet of Daleks with the Master and the Daleks. Great stories. All you need to do to win it is to subscribe to the channel, like and share the video with the hashtag Dalek War. DALEKWAR. I'll do the drawing, I guess, when episode 3 happens. I'm on a live stream to right after the shows, so I'll probably announce it on that. It's on the TARDIS zone, so catch me on that. I'll announce it when I'll do what I do. I'll just do a search for anybody using that hashtag over Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and I'll randomly pick one of you and hopefully get in contact with you, and you'll send me your address and I'll mail you the DVDs. And there's going to be more coming all for the next 2 months. But none of that is what this video is about, but thank you for hanging on and listening. So Doctor Who season 12 started with the Spyfall. Go and see my review of that if you want to know what I thought. Basically, I thought it was a vast improvement on everything in season 11. I like the villain. I kind of like Sacha Dhawan as, well, should I say who the villain is? Is that still a spoiler? Yeah, you know who he is, if you know who he is. I like the monsters. The only thing I didn't like in the show was Jodie Whittaker. I just think she's too weak for the role. She doesn't engender any confidence at all. That confrontation she had with Lenny Henry, it was like I would have laughed at her. She's just so not intimidating. But that's a video. Go and check out that video if you want to hear more of me pontificate on that. It's 25 minutes long, so that's longer than my normal video because I just rambled along about my thoughts because I think about Doctor Who a lot. So anyway. The episode came out and it didn't get very good ratings. The overnight ratings were 4.8 million, or 4.9 million, I should say, which are not very good. But something that happened almost immediately, which is made my head explode, was the spin that came out about it. So the first thing I saw was on the Jodie Whittaker Facebook page. I'm pretty sure it's the fan run page. He posted last night's opener to Doctor Who Series 12 Spyfall Part 1 was watched by an overnight audience of 4.88 million viewers. This is the lowest overnight audience during the Whittaker era so far. Really? I thought she got a lower... Oh, you're right, it is. Lowest so far. However, it was the most watched BBC show during New Year's Day. That is not a good argument. That is not a good defense. That is a bad argument. That just shows that both Doctor Who and the BBC are failing. And I think they're failing for the same reason, for their diversity and inclusivity policy. Now, to be clear, I don't mind seeing people of any skin color, gender, sexual orientation, ethnicity on screen. None of that bothers me. I am bothered when there is false diversity, when essentially what happens is you turn people into tokens. It's tokenism. And you say, "Look, I'm not a racist. Look at all my multicolored friends." That probably means you're a racist, you know. So I just don't think it's working. I think the problem is that they're very concerned about getting people of certain skin colors and sexual orientation on screen, and far less concerned with putting good entertainment on screen. I think if they feel they put out a good enough diversity, that's enough. And it's just not enough, and people are not that interested. So therefore, you may be right. It might be the most watched show on BBC on New Year's Day 2020, but that's because the BBC are forcing people away from them the way they force people away from Doctor Who by their diversity and inclusivity policy. Rather than say, "Oh, we gotta find a brown-skinned person to play this role because we don't have enough brown-skinned people," why not write a role for people of the ethnicity and whatever the genre is you want? Why not put them organically into your show rather than into this weird checkbook, check mark casting. It demeans the actors. It demeans demeans the actors and demeans the viewership, and makes you into the thing that you don't want to be. Makes you into a racist. Fine. So that's my strong opinion about that. So where will the ratings go as the season continues? I'm probably down. Traditionally, they probably go down. See, this is what I think has happened to Doctor Who over the last few years. It's got a thing that people assume is going to be something they're not interested in seeing. You had the David Tennant and the Matt Smith years, both very attractive men. Very attractive men do tend to appeal to women watching, because women tend to like looking at attractive men. Putting a male lead in something that's traditionally I will say, male-orientated fantasy adventure, which Doctor Who always traditionally was. That's not to say women don't like Doctor Who. Women do like Doctor Who, and that's actually one of the great things about Doctor Who. It had a broad appeal. But it just got the fit. But once you took the attractive guy out of the middle of the show and put a old guy, not so attractive. Now, don't get me wrong. I like Capaldi. I really liked him. I think his weakest season was his first season. His middle season was the middle, and the best season was his last. But by then, most people have switched off. I think the lowest rated ever for the return of Doctor Who since 2005 was one of Capaldi's last episodes, Eaters of Darkness or Eaters of Light. I can't remember. That got like a 2.9 or so overnight. It got like a really low overnight. But I think we might be headed into the same territory because, okay, we all know Doctor Who doesn't have wobbly sets. However, if you're of my age, it was just assumed that of course Doctor Who has wobbly sets. It took them a good few years to get rid of that perception. So yeah, it's the same thing. Doctor Who's just got a perception of the show they don't want. People aren't that interested in seeing. And then Jodie Whittaker came in, and I think that she alienated a whole bunch of other people. While enthralling the blue checkmark Twitter mob Talibans, I think they alienated most of the rest of the people, which I think is what we're seeing here now, which is why this overnight figure is so low. Look, it's going to go up a couple of million. I think it'll be about 7 million by the time it's done. But I think by the end of the season, just by the way things go, we could be looking at like even consolidated ratings, maybe below 5 million. If they go below 3 million, like what's going to happen? I understand there's not so much accountability in the entertainment industry, but really, at that point, you might you might want to think about changing your production team. Which brings me on to the next part of this video. So I was looking through Facebook this morning. I saw this thing about from Jodie Whittaker. Now I saw this review of the Spyfall in DownTheTubes.net. DownTheTubes.net is like a science fiction-y, comic booky online magazine edited by John Freeman. John Freeman, pretty good guy, by the way. He was used to be the editor of Doctor Who magazine during what I think is one of its greatest periods. And generally speaking, everything he does is normally comes out pretty solid, pretty good, pretty well. So in this review, the reviewer takes the time to just ridiculously attack the YouTubers, mainly the Phantom Menace YouTubers. So let me read you what he wrote. Many took to YouTube talking about how the explosion of the Phantom Menace in YouTube. Many took to YouTube, gave themselves silly pseudonyms, distorted their voices, and proceeded to post endless fatuous videos berating the series, hurling vile abuse at its showrunner and its stars, and eventually resorted to making up ludicrous rumors, quickly dismissed as nonsense. Oh my god, all of this is not true. Suggesting that the show's production was in chaos, the cast had walked off set, Chris Chibnall had been sacked, Bradley Walsh was in tears, probably. Okay, let me just dissect that. Many took to YouTube, many took to YouTube. Why did we take to YouTube? Why did I take to YouTube? Because if you criticized season 11 in any way at the beginning, in the first 3 or 4 weeks of it, in the first 5 weeks of it. It was only when it got to like episode 4 or 5, I started to be not on board for it. If you criticize it in any way, you're attacked, and you're as a sexist, racist, and you're hounded out of whatever platform you're on. YouTube was the only place that we could go, and so that's why we went there. We went there because of articles like this. You freaking idiot. Gave themselves silly pseudonyms. Yeah, it's called marketing. It's just being. I'm not really the rabbi from another planet. Here's something you didn't know. I don't come from another planet. I am a rabbi, but I don't come from another planet. Distorted the voices. One person does that, and he does it to comic effect. That'll be Doomcock, who is hilarious. I love Doomcock's videos, and proceeds to post endless fatuous videos berating the series. Oh, how's it fatuous to say that your series is utterly awful? There were so many things to complain about season 11 for. I mean, other than its horribly diversive tone. That, like, it's the first time that I felt that Doctor Who hated me because of my skin colour, which is a bit weird. You know, you wouldn't have thought Doctor Who should become like this weird racist, but that's how they played it for some reason. Hurling vile abuse at the showrunner. No, it's not vile abuse to say you're doing a horrible job, because they did a horrible job and it stars. No, it's not vile abuse to say you're doing a horrible job, because when you're doing a horrible job, it's vile abuse for people in the entertainment industry to say you're doing a horrible job to them, because they have no accountability for their work. How do I know they have no accountability? That if it was my job to do something that had a specific goal, like create a mass media entertainment with an expectation of having a large viewership. If I had then lost half that viewership during the run of my work, I would face some accountability for it, and quite rightly so. But that's where these rumors came from. These remodels, hurling views at showrunners, and eventually resulted in making up ludicrous rumors. Maybe those rumors were made up, maybe they weren't. But you know why people believe them? Because they wanted to believe them. They wanted to believe this nightmare would be over. That's I think what drove me to believe them anyway. Also, it sounded reasonable when somebody had failed quite massively that they would face some form of accountability. They sounded believable. And also, to tell you the truth, they still sound believable to me. I think everyone's holding their breath to see what happens with season 12. I think a pretty similar thing is happening with Star Trek Picard. I think people are just holding their breath to see what happens. Yeah, if this season ends up with a average viewership of 3 million or under, I think Chris Chibnall might actually do the trick to make him leave. Anyway, so this guy goes on. None of this came to pass, but these panda-eyed keyboard lunatics continued. That's quite funny. These panda-eyed keyboard lunatics continued, unashamed and unapologetic. Why should I apologise for loving Doctor Who and hating somebody using it as a platform for their hateful agenda, hateful, diversive agenda, to badmouth the series? No. All you have to do to badmouth the series is actually describe what's on screen. Encouraging boycotts. I'm not boycotting. I didn't buy the Blu-rays though, because why would I? Hate watching. I don't really understand hate watching. But it's not an option for me not to watch Doctor Who. It hasn't got that bad yet. And generally behaving like misanthropic Neanderthal morons with social and communicative skills of a piece of flypaper. Yeah, so I spoke to this author on Facebook about this. I said, listen, basically what I said here, the only reason the Fandom Menace exists is because of articles like this. And he's like, Fandom Menace? I don't know what that is. I'm like, dude, you've obviously been obsessing about Fandom Menace videos. So then his position was that, he only saw a few things online, he doesn't really know anything about it. I'm like, well, if you don't know anything about it, maybe do a bit of research before you attack and lambast a massive section of fandom. Yeah, maybe you want to do that, because this is just such incredibly disingenuous disinformation. It is fake news. Those paragraphs of that review is fake news, in my opinion. What is your opinion? Please like, share, subscribe, comment. Let me know what you're thinking. And again, if you want to win this DVD set, I need to say Blu-ray set. You're not getting my Blu-rays. You can get my DVDs. You want to win this DVD set? #Dalek War. Thank you so much for listening, and have a great day.